Welcome to the Health Coach Nation podcast. My name is Hailey Rowe. I'm a sales and marketing coach and strategist for health coaches, life coaches, and wellness professionals who want to become a leader in their field by building their online community, rocking their sales process, and finally feeling confident about how they promote themselves and their marketing. On this show, we talk about tips to grow your business, save yourself time, and finally be able to create a sustainable, profitable business. Let's get into it. Today's podcast is brought to you by the Zero to Hero Coach Program. This is my 4-month program teaching coaches and online service providers how to grow your online business, book clients consistently, overcome your sales fears, and finally rock your social media visibility. If you struggle to create a sustainable coaching business, this program is for you. Check out HaileyRowe.com and book your free strategy call with my team or myself today. Thank you. Hello, friends. Today we're talking about how do you shift into implementing more in your business, because I work with a lot of clients in my Zero to Hero Coach Inner Circle, and a lot of times they want to be a good student. So we have our coaching calls, but they also have templates and resources and videos and stuff to support them. And sometimes I see them, wanting to do everything perfectly and wanting to be a good student, quote unquote. And instead of getting in the arena or making a strong decision or doing the minimum viable product to get something out there, they sometimes get wrapped up in the materials or, how they want to make it perfect or whatever, and end up being consumers more than they're actually creating and putting value out and getting out there in front of their ideal client, which is the whole purpose of my program, which is to help you actually grow your business, book consistent clients, and feel confident in your offer, in your sales process, and in your discovery calls and things like that. And so what I always tell them if I notice I have a perfectionist client who wants to consume everything first perfectly before taking action, I always say I would much rather have you in the arena actually doing the things, even if it's imperfect, even if you take one thing from the lesson or whatever, than being the perfect student waiting until you get an A+ on every little step to take action. So the thing I wanted to share with you is just a couple ideas to shift from being that person who just slurps everything up and holds it in and never really does anything with it, or has all these ideas but they never get out there, to being the kind of person who is putting things out there, creating value every day, living your purpose, making meaning with your life, and actually talking to people and working with your clients and that kind of thing. So if you're here live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, comment replay, and we will get into it. So first, the thing you have to think about with anything you want to create is, what is the outcome I'm looking for? And so even when you're choosing what kind of content to consume, ask yourself, what am I looking to get from this, or what's the decision I'm trying to make from doing this research or consuming this content, and make sure you're really clear on what is that outcome you actually want. And then from there, ask yourself, is this a means to an end? So in other words, is this content getting me closer to that, or is it taking me off the path of what I wanted to achieve today and not helping me get to a solution or an answer that I was seeking? So use that question with every project you put on your calendar. What's the outcome? So rather than having a list of activities you're doing, ask yourself, what's the outcome this is driving me towards? And would I still put that activity on my calendar if I knew what outcome I want to create? And an outcome doesn't just have to be like, I want to make X dollars or I want to book X clients. Sometimes an outcome is, I want to have fun. Sometimes an outcome is, I want to connect with somebody new, or sometimes it's, I want to position myself in front of my ideal client today, or whatever it is. So it doesn't have to be a huge gigantic thing. It can sometimes be a feeling you're looking for, or a step in the right direction. Okay, the other thing you have to think about is, what is one action you could take on that outcome within the next 24 hours? And it could be tiny. The biggest thing that people do when they become somebody who just consumes things is they think if they're going to do something, it has to be massive and monumental and all planned out and, all these things. And so then they stop themselves from taking the action before they even start because it sounds so massive. So create one action that you could do within the next 24 hours that drives you towards the outcome that you wrote down or that you're seeking. And the other thing you have to think about is when you want to create a certain outcome, you have to be directing of your focus, because if you're not directing your focus, everybody else is going to take it from you. Your phone is going to take it from you. Social media is going to try to take it from you. The news, your friends, everybody's going to ping you and you're going to get notifications. So before you start your day, direct your own focus by asking yourself daily questions that keep you on track. And your questions will be different from mine depending on the outcome you're trying to achieve, depending on your values, depending on what's most important to you. But one of the things that I provide for my clients, and then if you want to check it out, you can comment journal below, is my 6-Figure Coach Journal. And it has 100 prompts, so over 100 days. You pick one at a time. And the purpose of it is to direct your focus on where you want to be going every day, because it's very easy to get distracted, or shiny object syndrome. And I would argue that is almost more of a problem than people actually following through on doing the actions can be pretty easy and can sometimes even be right in front of you and boring. But getting distracted is where most people tend to fall off track. So the questions are to keep you focused. And if you don't use my journal, just come up with 5 questions daily that can allow you to check in with yourself, and almost like you're your own boss or you're your own coach, and check in and see, am I aligned with my values? Am I living what I want to be doing, etc.? And 2 of my favorite questions that my mentor shared with me was, what do you want to contribute each day, and how do you want to feel each day? So if you need some ideas of where to start with that. But you can comment journal below if you want to check out the 6-Figure Coach Journal. The other thing is to think about when it comes to what you're going to create for your day is how you schedule that. So I know so many people who set themselves up for failure because, and including myself, I've done this before, where I convince myself that after a long day of calls and meetings, I am totally going to sit down and create content, and it's going to be so easy, and I know I'll do it. But the truth is, you have to plan and schedule your schedule realistically and know yourself as far as what are your tendencies, when are you most fresh and sharp, what's the hardest thing you feel like you have to do, and put that first, so when your motivation and drive for the day is high. Scheduling as if you were a friend to yourself and not an enemy. I'm going to make you do this, and this, and you're going to get no break time, and it's going to look like this. That sounds like a terrible idea, and then you won't follow through. So you want to schedule in a way that's very loving towards yourself, that gives you buffer room for projects, that puts the most important things when you know you're best. And that's going to be really important. The other thing to think about is create why you're doing the things on your list. So if you are overly writing notes and consuming content and information, but then you don't follow through, sometimes it's because you're like, well, what's the point? Why bother? And you don't connect it to your overall mission, and you don't have an emotion driving you to take action. So you either have an emotion of overwhelm, or you have an emotion of stress, or you have an emotion of fear of rejection or something, and then it's really hard to get yourself to take action from that emotion. That emotion makes you not make motion, right? So you have to think about, if I want to move, if I want to create, if I want to put things out there that are valuable, what has to be the emotion driving that, and how can I create that state within myself? What is the positive outcomes that I'm working towards that feel good to me, that even if I don't see them right now, that's going to drive me to take action consistently every day. So that's it's one of the harder things to do, because we as humans have to learn how to observe our brain and observe our emotions and observe how we're feeling without immediately reacting by procrastinating or getting, scrolling social media or whatever. We have to instead catch ourselves, observe our brains, create thoughts that drive the emotions that get us to take take action, right? So think about that a little bit. And if you don't create evaluation about what you're doing, then you're going to continue blindly taking action. So it's not just about what you do, but it's also about making sure that you are going to evaluate or have a system or questions or time when you look back at what you've been doing and you evaluate, is this working? Do I need to do more of this, less of this? Do I need to get help with this? What can I fine tune about this? That is going to help you, make sure that you're taking smart action and not just recklessly creating, right? Because there's a difference between creating impact and creating value and creating meaning and creating growth and just creating activities, creating a lot of things for yourself to do. There's definitely a difference there, and sometimes you will have to do things that aren't the right actions or aren't what we call smart actions to find out that they weren't the things to get you to where you want to go, which is okay, and that's still progress. But other times, if you don't have an evaluation system to look into that, you're just going to keep doing it, wondering why it's not working, why you're throwing things at the wall and it's continuing to not work. The last couple of things I want to say is you have to create your state. So, we already talked about that. But you also have to create your offer and your marketing in a way that aligns with the state you want to have and the mission or impact you want to make, okay? So one common thing I see coaches doing that keeps them from making offers is they see it as a burden to people, or they see it as they're annoying, or they see it as their offer's not good enough, or they don't have enough experience, or things like that. And so if you're going to create offers and create good marketing, if you're feeling that way, you're definitely not going to do well. So the thing to do is to ask yourself, how can I create an offer that I feel so good about and that I'm so excited to share and that I know ties to the impact I want to make? And how can I create offers in a way that makes it feel fun, that makes it feel curious, that makes it feel driven, makes me feel driven, right? Rather than a burden to people, annoying, being, invasive, things like that. So the key is to set your state up, set your outcome up, set your evaluation system up, and all the things I mentioned earlier to get yourself to a place where that making offers feels good. And making offers feels like you're helping people, you are living your mission, you are making an impact, you are improving and growing, you are sharing value with your audience. So I hope that makes sense. And remember, the next time you are consuming things that either A, don't get you anywhere, meaning you are, and I think sometimes we dismiss, there is such a thing as research. So I just want to say, consuming things, as long as you are, kind of trying to research a certain outcome or research something that's going to help you get clear on your next steps, is all good. But when it becomes something that you're consuming with no intent, no outcome, no intentions behind it, and never making note of what's the action you're going to take from it, or what's the thing you learned from it, then it becomes just noise and it becomes mush. So, and you will forget it. So these tips will help you actually implement and become somebody who's creating more than just consuming. If you have any questions, let me know, and comment journal below if you want. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. And if you liked it and want to reserve your very own free sales audit, go to HaileyRowe.com/strategy-call to book your very own free sales audit. On the call, we'll talk more about the common concerns you get from your ideal clients, how to overcome those concerns, how to coach through objections, how to change your mindset around sales, and improve your sales process so you can be closing and converting more clients. I can't wait to connect with you, and go to haileyrowe.com/strategy-call to take the first step. Thanks so much. Have a good day.